G'day comrade subscribers. Let's continue on with the National CF-3000. So I just had a look, thought this was interesting. So this is the cartridge eject mechanism. So I guess the cartridge goes in and that bit of plastic goes out like that, which then pushes out the switch, and then that's how you eject the cartridge. And it looks like my simple little cartridge design won't work, because in this case we've got a little switch there. So obviously my thin PCB isn't going to touch that switch, so I might have to maybe add a switch here so I can manually pretend that there is a cartridge installed. Anyway, so we're going to desolder the VDP and try running a Pico 9918 in there. Careful, remember where that dodge wire goes, Brett. And then also maybe have a look what this connector is for. Actually, I haven't actually looked for the service manual. I don't know if there is one available. I'll have a quick look, but yeah, let's remove that VDP. I've removed the screws as indicated, but it looks like to get it out, need to remove this back panel. So there's just 3 screws. So I think once that comes off, then I should be able to slide it out. Got to be careful of this little, cartridge mechanism though. Okay, once we've got everything out, it just simply slides out like that. Let's put that to the side. So this is the video output board. We've got the RGB21 connector, audio, video, RF modulator can. Normally I would remove that because that's just a waste of power, but I won't worry about that at the moment. Have a look at the power supply, because that's what I need to work on as well. So we're looking at it upside down kind of, aren't we? Let's turn it around this way. So we've got the power switch there coming in all the way from the front, AC 100 volts in there. So I could probably remove this and put a 2.1mm DC socket in place of that. So 12 volts in, and then just do all the regulation on here. So replace all of this. 1 amp fuse. Just need to double check what voltages I need. You can see from the transformer, 16.7 volts, 20, so about 30 volt amps. But you can see on here we've got a 12 volt tap and a 5 volt tap. And then maybe some regulators under there. So, and I guess there's minus 12 volts, because I know negative 12 volts is required. Maybe I'll plug it in and just check the voltages on this, because they're not labelled. I think it's just the colours. The cable colours, I think, are just labelled, not the actual voltages. So I'll just double check what's coming out, and I could reuse this on my board. I think that'll be what I do. So I'll pull this out at some stage so I can measure it and design a board the same size like I did for the Sanyo, which I haven't done yet. Well, I have got the PCB, but I haven't installed it yet because I'm waiting on the negative 12 volt regulators. Let me see if I can grab one. Okay, so this is the replacement board I designed for the Sanyo PHC30N I've got. So it's also a Japanese machine with 100 volts AC in. So just making it 12 volts DC in. So it's a universal power supply into a fuse. Negative 12 volt regulator goes there. Pass the 12 volts straight through. So you need to make sure you use a regulated 12 volt supply. And plus 5 volt regulator there. And then the output. So I could do something pretty similar. Ideally it would be under 100 mil, so it's a cheap PCB, but it depends on the mount points. So in the case of the Sanyo, it's actually a longer board, the original one, but there are actually a pair of mount points in the middle of the board. So that's what I've kind of measured it off. Anyway, we're not worrying about that today. I will pull it out, but we'll do the Pico first, replace the VDP. Right, there we go. The TMS 9928 is out. Came out pretty cleanly, so I'm pretty happy with that. Heatsink, so it was actually soldered into ground on either end, which is interesting. Right, time to stick a socket in I've only got one socket left before I have to go and get some more. And then we'll stick in the Pico. I'll put the original TMS 9218 back in, 99, whatever it is, because I thought it might be worth having a look at what that looks like with composite output, and then compare it with the Pico 9918. So I'm going to load Boulder Dash and have a quick game of that, one of my favourites, and then we'll put in the Pico 9918. I've got VGA and I've got HDMI. HDMI needs power, so I need to desolder it from my wherever it's plugged into. It's Pewter Mark II at the moment, so I might just do HDMI is easier. My VGA to HDMI converter is really dodgy. I'll figure something out anyway. But let's see what the composite output looks like with Boulder Dash. Right, we're all set to go. Let me start recording. So I've done some practicing, and it seems that run dash seems to work. And I've got the WAV file, play it through Audacity, set to, what have I got it set to? 62% volume. Oh, do I have to go back to the start? There we go. Okay. Also clicks of the relay. So I must be stopping, running a program, then starting again. So it says 5 minutes, but the WAV file goes for 2.5 minutes. We'll speed it up though. And here we are. So, one joystick, one play. I'm not sure what the keys are. Okay, changes the level. You don't need a joystick, 0 joysticks. I'm not sure, is it space? Press button. Okay, just got to hold it down a bit. I don't know if I need my keyboard thing. Right, Rockford. So it's a bit difficult playing with the keyboard actually, because don't forget it's also going through converting the video. I don't think there's anything over there, was there? No. So I'll go down here. I've got to be quicker. Okay. Be careful because they will fall on you. Okay. That means that the door's open, that I've got enough crystals, whatever they are. I can get a few extra. Should be over here. There it is. All right, let's go this way. All right, so first level done. Let's swap in the Pico and see how we go with that. Yeah, all right. Stop this. And stop this. So, Pico's installed. These are the two options I've got. So I've got the VGA output and the HDMI output that requires additional 5 volts. You can see you've got mounting holes there. So the VGA might be easier to mount on here. I could drill a hole through there and then use these to secure it to the panel. Otherwise, the HDMI, let's just move this back a bit. So this would be the area here And there is a ground plane. Looks like there is ground there, so I could, let me just get a closer look. So I could, it looks like I could, yeah, drill 2 holes through that ground there. That would be perfect. And yeah, and that should be a pretty solid anchoring to the PCB. I've just got to pick up 5 volts and ground. Well, you know, it's right next to the power supply. And then to connect to the Pico, got this here. So that plugs into the Pico like so. Push that down. And then this would run over to the HDMI dongle. That goes in there. Very gently. Closed down like that. And then there's still, oh, just got enough plonking on there, I think. Yeah, or I could try and run it, you know, with all the other AV underneath. But no, I think I'd probably just put it there. So for now, I think to pick up the power, I'm just going to pick it up off one of these logic chips. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, let me sort all that out and then we'll give it a go. Okay, we're powered on, start recording. How about that? That's looking much better, isn't it? Okay, let's try loading. What was it again? Run Dash, wasn't it? Dash. Okay. Play on Audacity. Okay, and off we go. I just realized the only problem with this is that I won't have any audio out because the composite to HDMI converter I had audio in, whereas this is going straight to my HDMI to USB dongle, so I'm not capturing any audio, I'm afraid. I have to add an external speaker or something. There we go. I think that looks much better. Thanks, Troy. This is a pretty cool. I have to order some more of them off him. Right, so what did we do last time? We went J to put 0 joysticks, and then I think it was a hard press on space. So I might need to clean the keyboard. There we go. You can adjust the color palette if required. I think this looks really good. I'm really happy with this. So I'll just finish off this level and yeah, oops. I have designed a kind of like what I call a clueless joypad for the MSX. I haven't had it fabricated though. It's just a simple little joypad under 100 millimeters. Just for, you know, quick testing, not for hours of gameplay. Don't for the Atari. Okay, so that flash means that the door's been opened. Don't want to get crushed. There's some down here. Don't think so. We go up. Okay, done. Right, so yeah, that's the Pico 9918 with HDMI output straight into a USB capture, HDMI to USB. That's looking really good. I don't know how to break out of this apart from just turning it off and then turning it back on. I think there was a reset button, was it there? I can't remember. There we go. Yeah, job done, I think, for today. Stop recording that. So I've just got to figure out how I'm going to get the power. Let's have a close look. How it's installed at the moment. I've just got it flopped over there. I'll be a bit gentle, Brett. Very temporary connection for power there, but I think definitely you can get ground from the ground plane. 2 screw holes there, line it up with the back plane, the back panel, cut a hole in it, and then yeah, like I say, power input's just there, so there is 5 volts I could just pick off there easily. There's a couple of jumpers, so there's J1, there's J2, J3, so that's 5 volts there, but that's a bit too far. Okay, hopefully that was of some interest. Next I'll install that, but next I'll look at replacing this power supply. Definitely get rid of this transformer and do something similar to what I did to the Sanyo. Something like this, so something pretty small could go in there. Like I said, I just got to match it up with the screw holes, so I'll probably pull all of this out. Doing that, I'm obviously not going to have power for a while. But yeah, so that's the next plan for this machine. Hopefully I should be getting some PCBs arriving next week, including my VIC-20 internal RAM expansion. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that finally being the final version. Okay, hopefully this was of some interest. Bye for now.